The wind hits your face like a knife. -20 degrees. No jacket. No house. No warm room waiting for you. Just ice, darkness, and a frozen world that wants you dead. Your fingers go numb. Your breath turns white. Your skin starts to burn from the cold. And the only thing standing between your body and death is not a spear. It is clothing. During the Ice Age, clothing was not fashion. It was survival technology. It allowed a hairless, fragile human body to walk into some of the coldest places on Earth and stay alive. This is how prehistoric humans dressed to survive the Ice Age. And by the end of this video, you may never look at your jacket the same way again. Around 20,000 years ago, the last Ice Age reached its most brutal point. Huge ice sheets covered much of North America, Europe, and Asia. In some places, the ice was more than a mile thick. Forests vanished. Rivers froze. The ground stayed cold. The wind never stopped. And humans were not built for that world. We are not wolves. We are not bears. We do not have thick fur. We have exposed skin, thin body hair, and bodies that lose heat fast. Without protection, your temperature drops. Your muscles slow down. Your mind gets confused. Then hypothermia begins. For us, cold is uncomfortable. For Ice Age humans, cold was an enemy. Every morning, they woke up in a world where one mistake could kill them. That is why clothing became one of the greatest inventions in human history. But forget the old image of a caveman wearing one dirty animal skin over his shoulder. Real Ice Age clothing was much smarter than that. It was cut, shaped, layered, stitched, fitted to the body. This was not primitive wrapping. This was ancient engineering. One of the strongest clues comes from Denisova Cave in Siberia. Archaeologists found a bone sewing needle there estimated to be around 50,000 years old. 50,000 years. A needle means seams. It means thread. It means someone was joining separate pieces of hide together. A flat skin can warm you for a moment. But a fitted sleeve, a hood, a boot, a closed seam, that can save your life. And the most incredible part is that this needle may not have been made by modern humans. Denisova Cave was home to the Denisovans, an ancient human group related to both Neanderthals and us. Long before cities, writing, farming, or metal tools, ancient humans were already solving one of the hardest problems on Earth. How do you keep a naked body alive in a frozen world? The answer began with animal hide. But turning hide into clothing was not simple. After a hunt, the skin had to be removed carefully. Then it had to be stretched out and scraped clean with stone tools. Every bit of fat, flesh, and membrane had to come off. If the hide dried too fast, it became stiff. If it stayed too wet, it rotted. So the person working it had to understand timing, pressure, moisture, and texture. Then the hide had to be softened. Some ancient people used animal brains, because the oils helped make the skin flexible. Others used smoke, fat, urine, or long hours of working it by hand. This was not random. This was knowledge. And in the Ice Age, knowledge was survival. If you enjoy stories like this, the real ancient world, the brutal choices, the forgotten skills that kept humans alive, subscribe to the channel. There is much more coming. Now here is where it gets even more impressive. A needle is useless without thread. So what did they use? Animal sinew. Sinew is the strong tendon from animals like reindeer, horses, and mammoths. When dried and split into thin strands, it becomes a natural thread. Strong. Flexible. Durable. And it had one amazing advantage. When sinew gets wet, it tightens. That means the seams of clothing could become more sealed in rain or snow. Without factories, without plastic, without waterproof fabric, our ancestors found a natural material that helped protect them from the cold. That is not primitive. That is brilliant. But survival was not just about wearing any fur. The wrong fur could kill you. Some hides were warm but too heavy. Others trapped sweat against the skin. And in extreme cold, sweat is dangerous. When you hunt or carry heavy weight, your body heats up. You sweat. Then, when you stop moving, that moisture cools and pulls heat away from your body. Fast. You can freeze while wearing clothing if the clothing holds moisture the wrong way. That is why caribou and reindeer hides were so valuable in cold regions. Their hair is hollow. Each tiny hair traps air inside, creating lightweight insulation. Warm, but not too heavy. Protective, but still breathable. To us, that sounds like modern outdoor gear. To Ice Age people, it was life or death. And this knowledge was passed down for generations. One group learned which hides worked best. They taught their children. Those children improved the method. Then they taught the next generation. Over thousands of years, clothing became stored intelligence. Not written in books. Written in hands. In stitches. In memory. This is one of the reasons humans survived. Not because we were the strongest animal, but because we could learn together. By around 40,000 years ago, clothing became even more complex. And one burial site in Russia shows something deeply human. The site is called Sunjia. There, archaeologists found the burials of two children, dating back around 34,000 years. Around their bodies were thousands of tiny mammoth ivory beads. Not scattered randomly. Arranged in patterns. Along the head. The chest. The arms. The legs. The clothing itself had disappeared long ago. But the beads stayed in place, showing the shape of the garments beneath them. These children were buried in fitted, decorated clothing. That means clothing was no longer only about warmth. It was identity. Status. Belonging. Love. Even in the Ice Age, humans were not just surviving. They were creating meaning. They were making beauty in a brutal world. And your own body still carries a memory of that story. When you get cold, you get goosebumps. Tiny bumps rise on your skin. Your hairs stand up. In animals with thick fur, this helps trap warm air. But on your body, it does almost nothing. Why? Because humans lost most of their thick body hair long ago. As fire, shelter, and clothing became more important, we no longer needed natural fur. The goosebump reflex stayed behind. A biological fossil. Your skin still remembers the fur we lost. And clothing replaced it. Humans outsourced their fur to culture. Instead of waiting for evolution to change the body, they changed the world around the body. They took animal skin and made shelter. They took bone and made needles. They took sinew and made thread. They took knowledge and passed it forward. So the next time you zip up a jacket before walking into the cold, remember this. That simple movement is older than civilization. Older than farming. Older than writing. Older than cities. Your jacket is modern. Your zipper is modern. But the problem is ancient. The wind is still the wind. The cold is still the cold. And your body is still the same vulnerable human body that once stood at the edge of a frozen world. Your ancestors survived because they learned how to dress against death. And because they got it right, you are here. If you want to know how ancient humans survived the rest of the Ice Age, what they ate, how they slept, how they hunted, and how they crossed frozen continents, subscribe and watch the next video. Because the deeper you go into the ancient world, the clearer it becomes. Our ancestors were not primitive. They were extraordinary.